The MH25 from iRay has quickly become one of our favorite handheld and helmet mounted thermal monoculars. Today I'm going to do a quick video to dive into some of the details of this particular thermal optic and why it is one of our favorite thermal monoculars. As you guys can tell, sitting right here, I have the pouch. This is what your iRay MH25 is going to come in. Now, one thing I wanted to note before I dive into anything in this pack, this is not an exhaustive video. I'm not going over every single setting, how to run this unit. There is a user manual included with your MH25. And I feel like iRay did a pretty good job inside of this manual of showing you all the functions and features and how to use this unit in a very simple way. And ultimately, that's one of the reasons I love this unit is it is extremely easy to use. You also will have a warranty card that does come with your unit. The warranty, if you would ever have any issues, would be fulfilled through iRay. Moving on, we're gonna open up the pouch here and dive right into this. In the main compartment, you're going to see the MH25, and I'm actually going to set this off to the side for the time being, and we're gonna dive into some of the accessories that are inside of this pouch. One thing to note, check our website for all of the specifications, all of the accessories, and the pricing, because all of that stuff is subject to change, and as optics change, the accessories and packaging and things like that could change. The best way to make sure you're up to date is hit the link in the description and check out our website for all of that information. In this main compartment, you're gonna have a set of cables. This would be for video out. So the MH25 does not have internal video recording. If you want to record, you'd have to get something like a mini DVR and use this particular cable to record any of your video. It also has a remote control. You have a little lanyard strap. This is for the bag itself, if you wanted to carry this over your shoulder or something like that. In the front pouch, we're gonna have a couple other accessory cords. This particular cord is the cord that you would use an accessory battery pack. I'll talk about that in a second. You're going to have a USB cord here as well, and that is going to charge the two Nitecore batteries. So these two Nitecore batteries are super important. I wanna take a second to talk about the batteries on the MH25 because this is sort of make it or break it. And you have to be careful what batteries you run in your unit. While these might look like regular CR123 batteries, they have a higher voltage than standard CR123s. So if you grab just a set of CR123s and you attempt to put them in the battery compartment on your MH25, you're gonna find it is not going to work. And the reason that they are not going to work is because they are 3 volts instead of the 3.6 or 3.7 volts that you're gonna find with rechargeable CR123A style batteries. One other caveat that you have to be extremely careful about, iRay did offer an extended battery pack for a period of time, and they allowed you to run a different style battery inside of the compartment. The battery had more runtime, but it was still that 3.6 volts. The problem is it gave enough people room to put 2 of these batteries in place of that one larger battery, and you're actually going to amplify the voltage when you do that, and you'll burn up your unit. You have to be very careful with these units. You are not supposed to exceed 7 volts. And my rule of thumb that I've been running with is if I run an external battery pack, I make sure I purchase one that does not exceed 5 volts. And that's a nice, safe voltage that you can run with this unit without risking damage to your unit, but you can also extend the runtime. And the way that you would do that is you would run an external battery pack like you would use with any cell phone or any kind of smart device that you would carry around with you on your body. This works exactly the same. So on the front of the unit here, we have a USB port. You would use the special cord that is included with this pack, which I will pull that out for you guys. What makes this cord so special is it has a 180-degree turn on the front. That allows you to put that into the front of the unit, and the back side here is a standard USB plug. So you would plug this into your external battery pack. This would get plugged into your MH25 unit. One thing I wanted to note is make sure you don't have a battery inside of your battery compartment when you do that, or else it will default onto the battery power and your unit will die and you will wonder why, because you have an external battery pack plugged in. The reason why is you still have a battery in the battery compartment. You might be asking yourself why I'm talking about external batteries so much, and the problem with the MH25 is the battery life. So right off the bat with the batteries, these rechargeable ones, you're gonna get about 1.5 hour runtime. And realistically, what I noticed in the field when it's cold is I get about 30 minutes of runtime and that's it. So if you're doing sets all night and you're hunting all night for 8-10 hours, you're quite literally going to need between 10 to 12 of these batteries minimum, and you're going to be changing them between every single set. That to me is super annoying. So what I prefer to do is run this cord with the MH25 and a battery pack, and you can easily get 8, 10, 12 hours of runtime depending on which milliamp hour style battery you purchase. So in looking at the unit here, going over some of the basic functions, you've got an eyepiece. This is the side that you would look into. And then on the front objective, you've got a cool little iris thing. It looks pretty neat. On analog night vision, this is super helpful because it helps with the focus. I haven't noticed much actual benefit from running the iris when we're talking about running this particular unit in the field. One thing that is nice about it though is when you're done with the unit, you shut it down, you can close the iris, and it is going to protect the objective lens from any dirt, damage, things like that. So in the overhead view here, I'm going to quickly show you guys just opening up the iris, closing the iris. In the front of the battery is the battery compartment. That is where you would put your battery if you're going to run those rechargeable CR123 style batteries. On the back of the unit here, we've got the power button. That power button functions in a couple different ways. So if you press it, you're going to be able to power on the device. When it comes time to power it off, you actually have to tilt the unit down and hold the button for a couple seconds, then it's going to power down. You can also press this button one time. You can get into different menus. You can turn it to adjust the zoom or actually navigate through the menus. So realistically, this is one of the most simple thermal monoculars that we've ever purchased because of the fact that it has only one button to operate and it is very user intuitive. On the top, you're going to see the mini rail, and so this would attach to different dovetail mounts, different accessories if you are going to helmet mount this particular unit. As I wrap up this video, I want to go over some pros and cons of this unit and discuss why I love it so much. Starting out with the pros of this unit, it's extremely lightweight, and that is a huge benefit. I truly believe that this is the first unit that actually makes sense for helmet mounted use. Most other units like the ML19 or the FLIR Breach didn't have the core resolution that this one has, and they didn't have the functionality that I believe that iRay included in the MH25. The fact that it has a 1.1 base magnification that can actually be backed up to 1x magnification means you can use it on your helmet and navigate naturally. You can run two of these together if you wanted to, just like a set of binocular night vision goggles, and you'll be able to navigate and have better depth perception than you would with running another typical handheld thermal. Now, thermal in general really kind of distorts your depth perception. It's often hard to range different objects, items, or pests that you're going after. So it does take a lot of training, does take a lot of time behind the unit to figure all of that out. It also features 4 different color palettes and has a digital zoom up to 8x. We're looking at the cons. The biggest con that I already discussed is the battery life. It has a horrible battery life when we are running the standard rechargeable batteries. It is almost unusable when it comes to that fact. And because of that, whenever we're using these for real out in the field, we're running those external battery packs. Another con with this particular unit is the fact that it does not have any internal recording. So you can't take photos with the unit, you can't record videos. And for many people, that's not going to matter. But if you want to record your kill shots on your hunt or record yourself or any photos, things like that during the hunt, this is not the unit that is best for that. I will add you can plug in a mini DVR if you want to export video footage onto that from this device. You are able to do that, but now you have to lug extra stuff with you into the field, whereas if you look at something like the FLIR Breach, that does have internal photo and video recording. I still think that this is the better option, and although it has some of those downsides, it has a lot of pros as well. The last thing that I'm going to label as a con with this particular unit is the fact that the objective on this side of the unit is very small. So I'm just going to pop off the little plastic eyepiece here. It is a very, very tiny unit. So when we're looking at it and we're reading menus and we're making changes or adjustments, it is very small. The text is big enough that you can see it and read it, and I don't have any problems with it, but I could see that if your eyesight isn't the best, this unit may be kind of difficult to navigate some of those menus because the text is pretty small. And I did notice when you put it in helmet mode, the text gets even smaller. So it's even harder to see what you're trying to read or what you're trying to change in the settings. That's one other thing to keep in mind. One thing I'll note about that is you can run the PVS-14 eyepiece adapter, which we highly recommend. and we're going to go over the installation of that in a separate video. But that's one way that you can fix that eye box relief a little bit and get a more refined image on that particular screen. When you take the eyepiece off, you'll notice that little screen is extremely small, and that's why the text and all that stuff appears so small. So overall, guys, this has become my favorite helmet mounted unit at this time because of the fact that it is packed with features. It has the 640 by 480 core, really fast refresh rate. It's very rugged, very lightweight, and packed with a ton of features. So if this sounds like something that is the right unit for you, you can definitely check them out on our website. The link is down in the description. You're gonna find all of the up-to-date specifications, all the accessories that are coming with this particular unit, as well as our current lead time for this unit. It's one of my favorite units. I trust it. I've used it a lot over the last couple months, and I think it's gonna do a lot of you really well if it's within your budget. It's gonna offer you that edge when we're out in the woods, out in the wilderness, hunting prey, or even just evading and navigating in the darkness. If this video was helpful to you and it helped you with making your purchase decision, please let us know down in the description and leave us a comment, leave us a like. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Please share this video. Let people know that we are in optics. We're getting into this stuff. You can find a whole line of optics if you're on our website. Go into shop, check out all the night vision and daytime optics, as well as all the accessories that we have there. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.